Landon Donovan, good. Clint Dempsey, better. But these two legends of American football don't quite match up to what Captain America has done at 26. He's gone to Italy and has been cooking up a storm in Serie A. At the time of recording this, he's got 12 goals and 9 assists in 30 games for Milan this season. 21 goal contributions, the most of his career so far at this stage of any season. And it's still only February. With all of this, the big question has to be, just how good is Christian Pulisic really? And how he is continuing to be the star man for American football? AC Milan is a huge club, and Christian Pulisic has been balling week in and week out. We'll get to why he made the move later on in the video, but for the context of his time at Milan, Pulisic has been very impressive. The one thing that stands out about the guy is that he's still effective no matter where he plays, which is usually on either flank. Last season, playing down the right, Pulisic notched up 17 goal contributions from this position, the one he's played for the majority of his career and the place where he seems most comfortable. He did play left wing too, with 3 goal contributions in 5 games. But that Pulisic has been coming up with numbers. It solved what looked to be a potential problem for Milan. These two. Because of how good Rafael Leao is, he mainly operates down the left wing. On the right, Milan also signed Samuel Chukwueze at the start of the 2023-24 season, and being left-footed, the right wing position seemed to be his on lock. Not because he was that good really, but because this was the only position where he could get it to the team, and so it became a problem figuring out where Pulisic was going to play. His versatility solved this straight up. He's shown that he can adapt on either flank, and the coaches he's had at Milan, Stefano Pioli, Paulo Fonseca, and most recently Sergio Conceição, these guys know Pulisic's form makes him demand a place in the first team. Pulisic's 2024-25, if the season somehow ended right now, he'd be getting Ballon d'Or nomination shouts. That's just how good he's been. Goal contributions in big games. A goal in the Milan derby versus Inter, becoming the first American to achieve this. Scored Milan's opening goal in the Champions League versus Liverpool as well. And in the same competition as well, the Champions League that is, he's been outstanding. He provided an assist and was a crucial part of the Milan team that went to the home of the defending champions Real Madrid and beat them on their turf. He's got 5 goal contributions in 7 games in the Champions League so far this season. That's red-hot form. Perhaps though, his biggest contributions so far this season have come in the Supercoppa Italiana. He won the penalty and scored the goal to start Milan's comeback win in the semi-finals versus Juventus. And in a crazy final versus Inter, Pulisic came clutch again. 10 minutes left to play, Inter had a 2-1 lead over Milan. Time was running out, and from nowhere, Pulisic came up with a special goal. Found the angle with what is supposed to be his weaker foot. The goal Milan scored to win it, Pulisic played his part too. The pre-assist to Leao to set up Abraham for the winner. Ask any Milan fan now and they tell you just how important Pulisic is to this team. That he's getting mentioned as the most important player for the team this season. Amazing. You see guys, in that earlier clip, there's something he said about Pulisic that strikes out. A lot of people believed the only reason Milan signed Pulisic was for commercial reasons. In August 2022, Redbird Capital Partners completed a majority stake in the club, as high as 99.93%. And as a result, the general belief was that they were only signing Pulisic so they could get more exposure in the United States, and that all of the money spent on the takeover wouldn't go to waste. I mean, to be fair, Pulisic did get used a lot in promotional adverts for the club on tour, but the idea with this is Pulisic has proved to be more than just a marketing strategy. He's been very important to the good stuff the team has done this season, and as we've talked about so far, come up with big moments in big games as well. Now though, to understand just how good Pulisic's season has been and why it's getting talked about like this, we've got to go back a bit, because his time at Chelsea before Milan was a mixed bag. It's harder to sum up Pulisic's time at Chelsea than trying to watch his horrible attempt at the griddy. Yikes. But seriously, Pulisic at Chelsea was a mixed bag, because it's still hard to sum up if he failed at the club or was a hit. On one hand, coming into the team off the back of Eden Hazard leaving, the fans had expectations. To be fair to Pulisic, he did alright in his first season, which I'll talk about in a bit, but first, see that subscribe button to Mr. Football. Hit it if you haven't already so you don't miss out on videos like this. Right, back to Pulisic now, and at Chelsea, he had his moments. A hat-trick versus Burnley in the Premier League in his first season followed that up with goals against Crystal Palace and Watford. And towards the end of the season, lockdown Pulisic was arguably the most in-form winger in the league. Doesn't get any better than when he ended Liverpool's 30-year wait for the league. 8 goals in his final 9 appearances of the season, but on the flip side, Pulisic struggled with injury problems that ruined his chances of getting a serious place in the team. It continued into the 2020-21 season. He was underwhelming until the end of the season when he played a key role in Chelsea surprisingly winning the Champions League. Contributed to 2 of the 3 goals the Blues scored against Real Madrid in the semis, and played his part in the final as Chelsea went all the way. The following season, he won the UEFA Super Cup and the Club World Cup with the team, but that was as good as it got. The problem with Pulisic at Chelsea was that just when he looked like he was in a bit of form or finding his rhythm, he'd somehow get injured and take a while to get his place back into the team. But again, he did show that when he was fit, he was a talented player, and that's why Milan decided to take a chance on him. So far though, we've looked at Pulisic's career at both Chelsea and Milan, and it'll be unfair to continue at this point without talking about him at the national team level. Pulisic playing for the United States men's national team is a different animal. I mean, I could go on and on about his records for the national team, like him becoming the youngest player to score for the men's national team, or the youngest player to score a brace in a World Cup qualifier. But the one that stands out has to be his goal-scoring record. 31 goals in 75 appearances for the national team, 5th on the all-time top scorers chart. He's still only 26. He became captain of the national team for the first time 6 years ago, and it's safe to say since that period, he's grown into a leader. That was Pulisic talking after missing out on qualification for the 2018 World Cup in Qatar. From that point to present day, Pulisic emerged as the face of American football. The goal to win the CONCACAF Nations League final in 2021, just 2 weeks after winning the Champions League. And in 2022, he finally fulfilled his promise of helping the United States men's national team get to the World Cup after the disappointment of 2018. And out in Qatar, Pulisic had his moment. Damn, he sacrificed 2 balls for the price of 1 just to see 1 go in for the national team. Talk about being patriotic, the guy really is Captain America. Pulisic has been a mainstay for the national team ever since he made his debut, and he would have played more but for injuries. Even with that, what he's managed to achieve so far in his career is already more than what some legends have throughout theirs. Again, this is him talking like a leader. After the appointment of Mauricio Pochettino as the new coach of the men's national team, and in his words, all he wants to see is a team that fights and is willing to take risks. That potential might now. In just the 2 seasons he has spent at Milan, he's got 47 goal contributions in 80 games. That's more than a goal contribution every 2 games. When it comes to scoring percentages for the national team, Pulisic's tally of 0.42 is the highest in the top 10 of all time men's national team top scores. More than Landon Donovan and even Clint Dempsey. Truth is, with Christian Pulisic, there's every reason to believe this is a player that even at 26 can still get better. He's been around for so long it's easy to forget that he hasn't even entered his prime years. There's still so much more to give. The early years of promise at Borussia Dortmund, or even before that playing for youth teams like the PA Classics, Michigan Rush, playing at the Under-17 World Cup with the national team, Christian Pulisic is a player who has always been tipped for greatness. And it seems like right now at Milan, he's finally living up to that. As good as Christian Pulisic has been for club and country though, the real test is yet to come. The 2026 World Cup, and Christian Pulisic will be captain of the US men's national team as they prepare to be one of the hosts for the competition. Can he carry the hopes of an entire country on his shoulders and be the leader the team needs him to be? In just a few years, we'll find out just how far he's come. Crazy to imagine what could have happened to Pulisic if he stayed at Chelsea. Who knows, maybe he and Cole Palmer could have become a deadly duo at the club. Right now, Palmer is one of the most influential players on the team, and you can find out why by clicking the next video to see how Cole Palmer has become the next future star at Chelsea.